The Yonex Percept 97 is here, delivering speed, spin, precision, and feel. This 97 square inch racket comes equipped with a buttery flex and speedy swing weight, which translates into confidence on the court. With an elongated shaft for enhanced pocketing, this racket also features Servo Filter technology to help absorb harsh vibrations. An ideal option for players who are looking for control, feel, speed, and spin. I had the chance to play test this one alongside of the heavier version as well as the more dense string pattern, and this was the one that I gravitated towards the quickest. I had no issues with it right off the bat and found synergy hitting with this racket. It's nice and speedy, yet very stable for its weight, so I really appreciated that. And it has something that I've been noticing that I'm liking in other rackets, kind of similar to that Prince ATS Tour 98, where it does feel nice and flexible through the throat, however a little more firm towards the top of the racket, so I'm not feeling too buttery flexy and it doesn't feel like a noodle, and I still feel in command of my shots, which allowed me to find easy depth, and it was really easy to hit with this racket against several different levels of players. I'm coaching a bit more, so that was super helpful for me to hit with a different level player and not be pushing them back as I was with the heavier version of this racket. I thought it's also going to be a great platform for customization for someone that maybe thinks the H is a little too heavy or the D is too tight of a string pattern. This is a great one to start with, and I think you'll find tons of feel. At net, it felt amazing. On serve, I've been saying the other two rackets were some of my favorite serving rackets in a long time. Again, this is falling right into that category. Easy power on the serve, plus tons of precision. All in all, a great play test for me.
This Percept 97 was a really easy transition for me because the weight, balance, head size, pretty much everything about it fits in what I look for in a racket right now. And from the baseline, I enjoyed a nice blend of power, maneuverability, and just enough stability that I thought the racket felt nice and solid at contact, especially for how fast it came through on my swing. Good access to spin, the string pattern's nice and open, so when I was looking to hit heavy top spin, I was getting good rotation on the ball, and that helped me roll my angles. Or when I was looking to go high and deep, say to my opponent's backhand, or just roll a consistent but pace ball cross court, I was able to do that with this racket, and really able to carry a lot of tip speed without fear of overhitting, which was really impressive for me. On approach shots, I thought I had good feel for where the ball was going. I was controlling my depth well. I do like the 100D a little bit more in that regard, just because it has a denser string pattern, but this one worked out just fine. And then at net was probably one of my favorite areas to be with this racket, and it's been kind of a running theme for me with all of the Percepts. I love the feel on the volley. I feel very connected to the ball. My placement volleys have been working exceptionally well with these rackets, and then also I'm finding enough pop out of them to be able to punch the volleys away and hit those nice deep volleys with pace without having to take a big swing. On serve, getting some really nice action on my slice serve. I was able to get a nice kind of slice kick into the opponent's body, starting on the backhand and just curving it in to them, and then also my down the tee on the outside and out wide on the deuce side, getting some nice action on those serves, getting some 3 points, some aces here and there, which is unusual for me, so definitely appreciate that with this racket. So a nice combination, had me feeling like the racket was fast and easy to get around and super stable when I made my contact. So super fun play test for me.
Excited to be here today, being named to this play test, talking about the new Yonex Percept 97, still weighing 310 grams. There's not a big change between it and prior iterations of it, though there is one thing I will notice. There is, like Michelle mentioned, a little bit of a firmness in the hoop that kind of gives me a little extra put away power, cheap source of power that way. This is still a sub 320 swing weight, about 7 points headlight strung. So it is definitely a speedy version of a 310 gram frame. Definitely still getting some mass-based power out of it. But again, like Michelle mentioned, I think this is ripe for aftermarket modification with weight. Overall, in stock form, this came close to being a Goldilocks racket for me. Just enough weight to be stable, you know, up until pace got really excessive. But definitely light enough to play with over the long haul. And then also, like I mentioned, with the hoop being a little stiffer, getting some put away power, but not so much that it's at the sacrifice of any kind of comfort. Though I would probably add a little bit of weight to the hoop to bump up the swing weight. Overall, this racket was just effective from any part in the court. And probably out of all the shots that I enjoyed hitting with this, the serve was probably my #1 on the list. Really enjoyed it. And if there was anything I struggled with, as usual, probably need a little bit more work on my serve return. My serve return is a lot like a half volley, so definitely the racket is maneuverable and stable enough for that as well. Overall, just a fantastic all-court racket, great play test. And now let's hand it over to the players at Atlanta, see what they have to say about the new Percept 97.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, this racket was totally in my wheelhouse when it comes to specs, so I was super excited to see how it plays on court. When I first got on court and started hitting on the baseline, it became very obvious that this will be on the softer side, softer feeling racket when it comes to stiffness. So it provided that really nice, comfortable feel. So much so that I actually kind of miss the stiffness that I prefer with my rackets of choice, generally speaking. To my surprise, the racket was really good on spin actually, and I really enjoyed opening up the court with these great angles that I was able to generate with that spin. One thing that was really important with this racket is to get the timing right, because when you did, the racket really provided this nice, plush, comfortable sensation, and it rewarded you with a great response. To make the most out of this racket, I was really focused on hitting full swings instead of shorter ones and redirecting the ball like that. Basically using my opponent's pace on the ball instead of generating my own, because I felt like I was able to create better control this way. Otherwise, the racket really shined on slices and serves. On slices, the ball sat very nicely low to the ground. I felt great control on my shots. And on serves, very similarly, I was able to trust the racket and I was able to pick and trust some riskier targets as well. On returns, I was struggling a little bit, unfortunately, especially against heavier hitting opponents. I felt like the racket wasn't really stable enough and it got pushed around a bit. So to counteract that, I would just like to add a bit more weight to the hoop. All in all, if you're a control-oriented player looking for a comfortable feeling racket with a lower swing weight, definitely give this one a go. Thanks for watching. We strung up the Yonex Percept 97 with Playtest Pro at around 52 pounds. For more information on this racket and any others, please go to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.